Hereby given, Willacy County Commissioners Court will hold a regular meeting at the County Judge's Office Commissioners Courtroom at 576 West Main Street in Millville, Texas, 78580 on Thursday, September 12, 2024 at 10 a.m. for the purpose of discussing the following items. And during the course of the meeting, any discussion of any item on the agenda to be on executive or closed session, Willacy County Commissioners Court will convene such executive or closed session in accordance with section 551.01 of the Texas Government Code. To any final decision, final vote, or final action be required in the opinion of the Willacy County Commissioners Court with regards to any matter considered in such closed or executive meeting or session. Then the final decision and final vote should be either in the open meeting covered by the notice upon the reconvening of the public meeting or a subsequent meeting of the Willacy County Commissioners Court upon notice thereof as the county shall determine. So with that, I'm calling this meeting to order. Madam Chief Deputy Clerk, could you establish a quorum, please?
Yes, sir. Commissioner Precinct 1.
Present.
Commissioner Precinct 2.
Present.
Commissioner Precinct 3.
Present.
Commissioner Precinct 4.
Present.
Howard County Judge.
Present.
E. Ralph.
Okay, please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing. Heavenly Father, as we gather together, we thank you for your endless goodness to us. Thank you for all the skills and talents you have given us. And we ask for your continued blessing for everyone who calls Willacy County home. Amen.
You may be seated. Any public comment? Okay.
Did you have a place you needed to sign?
Yeah, they're supposed to be
Well, I did sign that. Thank you.
Do you want to make public comment, Commissioner?
Yes, please.
Okay, come on in, and I'll have you sign before you leave.
I signed, but they don't have a form where it says public comment.
Okay.
Thank you for hearing me out, Commissioners Court, Judge. Good morning. Again, I want to applaud you for maintaining the taxes as you did. As I'm out there in the community, I've been a member of a governing body with the city of Lyford. I understand the budgetary problems that come about and how they come about. And sometimes it ain't quite clear to our constituents. One of the items that there are some, that people are not necessarily concerned, but need some clarity on, is there's an item here that you have. I think it's item number 5, adoption of the 2024-2025 proposal changes in compensation for elected officials. And I'm going only by a spreadsheet that I received. And on that particular spreadsheet, you can see the raises in the different categories that are being given. And I think we just needed some clarity as to, we can understand salary because that's salary. But when you go to the category of allowances, what is that particular category?
Sure. And as part of this process,
I'm listening, I'm sorry, I apologize.
by statute, we need to have these public hearings, right? One of the public hearings that we had earlier this morning, you weren't present, was specific to that. And that, you're right, that came up.
Did it?
Yes, it did. And so it's a legitimate question, a good question. But what we have, Mayor, is that you've been former mayor, you've been a former mayor, you've been a city commissioner, is that we gave commissioners an option a few years back as to whether they want to utilize their own vehicles or utilize county vehicles, right? And we did that based on the fact that in other tax entities, such as the drainage district and I believe the navigation district, I'm not sure. The appraisal district, they allow that option, right? So we gave that same option to commissioners. So there is some commissioners that chose that route. That's one. Then the other is years back, we concluded that it was very essential to have a judge pro tem. And I think you're familiar with mayor pro tem as well. And that's more for signatures, even though that the signatures on the judicial side does not apply. The county judge has to be the one signing it. But on the other, which is plenty of signatures, believe me. So we, as Commissioners Court, select a commissioner to be the judge pro tem. Rule of thumb, not by policy or statute. We go by whomever has the most seniority, right, as far as commissioner, which makes sense. And so that arrives to the numbers that you're referring to.
So one is allowances for vehicle and everything that goes with that, private mileage and.
No, actually, it's a set amount.
It's a set amount.
Yes.
So that's automatic regardless of whether you use a vehicle or it's just an allowance that you get.
We're doing it just like the others do it. Yes, sir. It's just an allowance you get, and you put your own fuel. Now, I'm not sure if other entities do that, but here you use your own.
And the other part of that allowance is
Judge pro tem. That's only one.
and that goes to every.
No, sir. It's whomever we select to be the judge pro tem.
So every commissioner's allowance is different as far as the amount, because.
Yes, and there's one more that I failed to mention because this is fairly new, and this is the what's it called?
Vector control.
Vector control, which I think you're familiar with.
Okay.
For spraying for mosquitoes.
Yes.
That license, I'm not sure if it's referred to as a certification or a license, is required, right? So I was telling this group that this came up again in that same conversation, is that typically we had utilized employees to get certified because it was very common, right? You would go take classes. And then they would be responsible for the chemicals themselves, which the state would have them personally liable for that. So employees kind of shy away from wanting to do that. Plus, I think Commissioner Garcia brought this up, that the testing has become very stringent and very demanding. So it has turned out to be very, it's not easily acquired, right? So we are giving now, and again, I don't want to refer to it as stipend. I know it's referred to as schools as stipend. So we are doing that now. Currently, and this is one that I think we're approving, I think Commissioner Garcia and Commissioner Tiguerina are both now certified.
Licensed.
Yes, sir.
Or license.
Certified and licensed.
So their particular allowances would have that particular stipend and
Yes.
to that. Plus the, so everybody in this court uses the option to use their own vehicle.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes, sir. The commissioner.
And those that are certified, as they get certified, well, their allowances will increase. Do we have a number on it? Because it's not broken down. And
Yeah.
I'm sure you have it broken down.
I want to say, and I said this, I went out on a limb and said that it was 12,000 a year on the.
For the vector control is $300 per month.
So the vector is $300 a month.
It's $3,600 a year.
A year.
That's where you see it, 36 for Commissioner Tiguerina. But basically, if I may, it doesn't only give us like an incentive for ourselves. We also pick up the other two precincts. For instance, I'm helping precinct 1 over there. That's the only reason it's there. And Commissioner Tiguerina helps precinct 3.
And I know, because I've reached out when I was at the city, to Commissioner Tejeda on that, and it's good that the commissioners work. But like I said, when you throw a category of allowances, and some of us it's quite high, and there isn't any clarity. Maybe you do have an instrument that shows everything, but the one that was sent to me didn't. So and I was saying, well, I'll go and I'll ask for you.
Sure.
That's what
Sure.
what it is.
No problem.
So Okay, so so those are that one. It kind of has to do with compensation, it doesn't, but I don't think there'll be another opportunity, and if I'm outside of my place here, then quickly let me know.
Sure.
But, what governing tool or what instrument do we have to evaluate commissioners other than public, not opinion, but public vote? Who is a commissioner accountable to other than the public?
Yeah, I get that question often as a county judge, and the perception out there is that the county judge is over the commissioners, and that's not so. And
Right.
I think you've been one of those that I did that explaining to. Basically, the commissioners do have guidelines, and Ms. Mendoza, you can jump in at any time. But that has to do more with what they can't do in terms of what the law allows them to do, right? Or does not allow them to do. I think those are the remedies. The other is that what I tell constituents that call is that there's the option of in public comments, come and express their concerns just like they do in the cities and so forth. And the other is, as you mentioned, by voting. Right, and of course, I clarify also when there's complaints, and if there's complaints on me, I hold that bar just as high, and that is if it's something illegal, go to the proper authorities, and if you think that the district attorney is included, go up higher. That I do not have a problem. In fact, I encourage people to do that if they see something that's illegal.
So for the regular salary, it increases every year or every 2 years? How does that increase on the salary itself? Because there was an increase on the salary.
Yes, there's no solid structure. We really gauge it on whether or not there's the opportunity to be able to increase. I will tell you that and I think I saw the sheriff come in just now.
Yes, he was here.
Okay, and that is that our employees in general, and I point out the sheriff because he's experienced here in the past 2 or 3 years, well, since he's been the sheriff, that he's having a hard time competing with other law enforcement agencies, right? And that holds true. We have the auditor that having issues as well with keeping employees, which, by the way, and that's another misconception out there. The auditor and auditor's employees are under the district judge, not the commissioner. So that's another department that needs to kind of. And I'm not saying that any other department doesn't fall in the same situation, but they need to keep the rates of salaries compatible, otherwise you lose good employees. Now, one of the things that I referred to here not too long ago is benefits. I think we, and I include myself, don't do a good job promoting the good benefits that county employees have, right? Whether it's insurance or retirement. Those two are the main factors. I think we have good benefits, which, as a matter of fact, I'm going to propose to commissioners later this year about seeing if we can increase the retirement benefits because you see these demands, especially in governments and I know the state has a lot more money than a county, we can compare it. But needless to say, people like to work for the state because of the benefits. Yeah, I'm talking in general, right?
Yes.
And the federal, well, that you know as well, that they also have good benefits. So we cannot afford to fall behind, Commissioner. That's the bottom line.
So as you all talk about raises for the commissioners, there isn't an instrument out there that has objectives that guides or measures performance indicators to decide that? You just, if we have the money and we can, we're gonna give those that are up for it or
Well, there's two things. That is, first and foremost, remember, I talked about not increasing tax rate, right?
right.
So that also depends heavily on value, right? So every county is different on that. Some years is good, some years is bad, depending on how diversified you are on the value tax table, right? So what at least I do and try to orientate commissioners, or at least inform commissioners, I should say, is that I compare to other counties, right? Every year we get a booklet, or every other year, and it's all the counties in Texas. It's based by groups of population, right? From I think it's 500 to whatever. We fall in the category of up to 25,000 and less than 98,000 population. So we compare and see how we're doing with other counties. Now, having said that, it's very diversified, because there's some small counties that have a lot of money because they got a lot of value.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? I can tell you that Willacy County, and I'll go a little bit into history. I know that we're on camera now on YouTube. Is that the history in Willacy County was that we were very dependent, and school leaders can attest to this. We were very dependent on oil, gas and oil.
At one time.
At one time, we were at about 55% of value was on gas and oil. And what would happen when that thing would drop? It was like, I was in trouble, right? So now with the windmill, we're more diversified, right? And I'm hoping that in the future, whether it's beyond my tenure of having the reins in this county, that there'll be other opportunities coming so that we're even more diversified, to where we don't have to depend on a particular commodity to be able to sustain our competitive salaries. Vehicles. I mean, the sheriff can attest. Vehicles are on law enforcement. You know, they take a beating, and they're very expensive nowadays.
Judge, if I can add, a lot of what you're talking about was discussed in public workshops that are posted, and we have them throughout the year as we're getting ready to do the budget. A lot of these questions, I would encourage you to attend to the next ones, but this is what we have that for. That's why we had the public hearing at 8:30, 9:30, 9:45. We're recessing the 9:30 to 1:30 and the 9:45 to 1:45. But that's where you can have that exchange. Unfortunately, and I didn't want to interrupt, but it's gone way beyond what a public comments purpose is. And I know, Judge,
Well, yeah,
if you want to have a conversation
with you're right to know that I totally
And I appreciate
yes.
that.
Yes, because I was, because we did the
workshops, yes.
Not
not the workshops, the public hearings.
Public hearings. Yeah, so,
And I was on the list
Yeah.
to receive that info, and somehow I got off the list. I used to
yeah,
get
absolutely right.
all that information.
But- and
It's
there are-
difficult otherwise to get.
And just to add to that, Judge, there are some publications that I can direct Mr. Salinas to that has a lot of the questions about what the roles and the duties of Commissioners Court for all county employees actually, and I can direct that to you. It's like 170-page
I've seen the
document.
manual.
But I can get that for you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Gabe. And again, thank you for your time.
And also just to clarify, because this is an important point, what we try and do is that when we do give salary increases, we do it across the board. That's basically what we do.
Thank you again. Commissioner Guerrero. Thank you. Commissioner Tejeda, Commissioner Paz, Commissioner and Judge. Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Again, Commissioners, I apologize. In my mind, I was thinking of it in a public hearing.
And Judge, I didn't want you to not give the information.
Yeah,
I just
no.
wanted to
Yes, no, I'm glad you
make
brought
sure
it
you
up.
stayed on track.
Okay, so Commissioners, I had mentioned earlier that I did feel comfortable handing out the budget. The auditor is continuing to plug in numbers. As you know, we had last minute changes, so 48 hours ago, she's still plugging in numbers. So what I'd rather us do is for us to recess till 2:30 this afternoon, so that we can then be able to, we're gonna have those public hearings, and then we'll have the adoption of the budget.
And Your Honor,
on,
just,
on all the rest of the line items, that way we can do them all at once.
yeah, and just so that you know, it was filed, I think she had finished doing that. I think now it's trying to get to the special claims and our budget amendments. It's also on the same agenda for today. Since she was working on the budget, she just needs some time to get to those sections as well. So, and obviously she can't be here for that, but I think that would if you're entertaining a motion to recess until 2:30 today? Okay.
Yes.
And that would be for line items 5 through, 13, really, for the rest of the budget, for the rest of the meeting, we should say.
Right.
Okay.
Then you take a motion?
Make a motion to adjourn until 2:30, to consider line items 5 to 14. Recess, I'm sorry, recess.
I have a motion by
Second.
Commissioner Mejia, second by Commissioner
Sorry,
Paz.
time about this.
Yes.
I know we had a meeting around that time. What time do we have a meeting?
We can work around that, that's for the grant, for the new broadband. I can reschedule that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Never mind.
So I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
All right.
And all opposed, same sign. Motion carries.